everyone, welcome back to my channel Study My Buddy. So today's our new topic is machines. So basically, what are machines? Machine is a device by which we can either overcome a large resistive force, or in a simple language we can say that makes our work easier. So there are four ways for the functions and uses of simple machines. In lifting a heavy load by applying less effort, that is as a force multiplier. This was the first. Then second, as a gain in speed. Third, in changing the direction of effort to a convenient direction. Then we have some terms related to a machine. They are load, effort, mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, work input, work output, and efficiency. First we will do load. The resistive or opposing force to be overcome by a machine is called the load. Effort. The force applied on the machine to overcome the load is called the effort. Mechanical advantage. The ratio of the load to the effort is called the mechanical advantage of a machine. Since MA is the ratio of two similar quantities, it has no unit. Then velocity ratio of the velocity of effort to the velocity of load is called the velocity ratio of the machine. Then we have, and since the velocity ratio is also the ratio of two similar quantities, so it has no unit, just like MA. Work input. The work done on the machine by the effort is called the work input. Work output. The work done by the machine on the load is called the work output. Efficiency of a machine is the ratio of the work done on load by the machine to the work done on machine by the effort. It has also no unit since it is also the ratio of two similar quantities, that is ratio. And one important note is that due to friction and weight of the moving parts of a machine of a given design, its velocity ratio does not change, but its mechanical advantage decreases, and so its efficiency also decreases. Then we have MA. If MA is equal to 1, then the force needed is equal to the load. If a machine having the mechanical advantage greater than 1, it acts as a force multiplier, while a machine having the mechanical advantage less than 1, it gives the gain in speed. The machine having the mechanical advantage equal to 1 is generally used, this is a use, to change the direction of effort as there is no gain in force or speed. Then velocity ratio. If velocity ratio is less than 1, then there is a gain in speed because load is moving at a faster rate. If velocity ratio is more than 1, then it acts as a force multiplier. If velocity ratio is equal to 1, it acts as a changes in the direction of effort. Then we have principle of a machine. Principle of a machine: when energy is supplied to a machine by applying the effort, it overcomes the load by doing some useful work on it. The point at which the energy is supplied to a machine by applying the effort is called the effort point, and the point where the energy is obtained by overcoming the load is called the load point. Then input energy is equal to work done at the effort point, which is equal to effort into displacement of the point of application of effort. Likewise, output energy also. Then we have idle machine. An idle machine is that in which there is no loss of energy in any manner. Here the work output is equal to the work input, that is efficiency of the idle machine is 100%. Then actual machine. In an actual machine, the output energy is always less than the input energy. There is some loss of energy during its operation. This is due to three reasons. The moving parts in it are neither weightless nor smooth, or we can say they are frictionless. The string in it is not perfectly elastic, and its different parts are not perfectly rigid. Then we have relationship between efficiency, mechanical advantage, and velocity ratio. Suppose a machine overcomes a load L by the application of an effort E in time t. Let the displacement of effort be displacement E and the displacement of load by dl. Then we get work input is equal to effort into displacement of effort, and work output is equal to load into displacement of load. So we can say that efficiency, we know that efficiency is equal to work output upon work input. Then from equation 1 and 2 we get that eta is equal to load into displacement of load upon effort into displacement of effort. But as we know that load by effort is equal to mechanical advantage, and displacement of effort upon displacement of load is equal to VR, that is velocity ratio. Then we can say efficiency is equal to ma upon VR, and we from this equation we get that ma is equal to VR into eta, or we can say efficiency. Thus the mechanical advantage of a machine is equal to the product of its efficiency and velocity ratio. Then we have kinds of levers. So basically we should know that what are levers. A lever is a rigid straight bar which is capable of turning about a fixed axis. Then we have principle of lever. A lever works on the principle of movements according to which at the equilibrium position of the lever movement of load about the fulcrum must be equal to the movement of effort and about the fulcrum, and two movements must always be in opposite direction. Here you can see I have underlined the and marked some important words that they are keywords of this definition or this principle of a lever. Then we have that, see, this is the levers and their kind. This is class 1 lever, first one in which fulcrum is in the center, second in which load is in the center, and third and the last in which effort is in the center. So for the memory aid you can learn FLE, F in the center, then L in the center, and then third in the center. Then we have class 1 lever in which fulcrum is between the effort and resistance. The effort is applied on one side. Then we have some examples for it, and this class 1 lever acts as force and speed multipliers. Then this is the first class lever in which you can see that fulcrum is in the center and force is on effort is applied in your left side and load is on the right side. This can interchange also. It is not rigid that you will apply force on this side only or load is there only. Then we have some more examples like crowbar. Here also you can see that fulcrum is in the center. Wherever you see that fulcrum is in the center, you will straight away write that it is a class 1 lever, which is a force and speed multiplier. Then this is an example of a seesaw. More the effort, more the load, more will be the effort. See how the girl is applying more effort, and lesser will be the load, more will be the lesser will be the load, lesser will be the effort. Then we have this claw hammer also as a class 1 lever only. Then scissors, pliers. Then class 2 lever. Class 2 lever, in this type of levers the fulcrum and the effort are at the two ends of the lever and the load is somewhere in between the effort and the fulcrum as shown in this diagram. Then the load and the effort are on the same side of fulcrum but in opposite direction, and the effort arm is always longer than the load arm. Then we have that some examples are there, like this is the bottle opener, which is an example of class 2 lever, and it always acts as force multiplier, whereas class 1 was acting like force and speed multipliers both. The mechanical advantage and velocity ratio of class 2 levers are always more than 1. This is an example of wheelbarrow as class 2 lever. You can see that load is in between and force and effort are somewhere else. Then class 3 lever. In this type of levers, the fulcrum and the load are the two ends of the lever and the effort is somewhere in the between the fulcrum and the load as shown in this diagram. It always acts as speed multiplier. So we have some examples like sugar tongs, foot pedal, knife. You can see this is a pair of sugar tongs. Then we have the forearm used for the lifting a load, fire tongs, foot treadle are examples of class 3 lever. This is the overall diagram for all the 3 class levers. Then we have examples of each class of levers as found in the human body. This is a class 2 lever in raising the weight of the body on toes. See this, it is a class 2 lever. The weight of the body is raised on toes. The fulcrum is at the toes at one end, you can see, and the load is in the middle and effort by muscles is at the other end. Thus this is an example of class 2 lever. Then we have the lever in raising a load by forearm. This is a third class lever. At the elbow joint acts as fulcrum. At one end, biceps exerts the effort in the middle and load on the palm is at the other end. Thus, this is an example of class 3 lever. Then, how does a lever work? It works on a principle that lesser the force applied, lesser will be the weight of the load, and more the weight of the load, more the effort will be applied.
So this was the first part of the machines chapter. Second part will be soon on the channel. If you do like this video, please like, share and comment. Thank you.